Springboks won the World Cup. The Proteas got out in the semi-finals. It's Bafana Bafana's turn this weekend. They're out in Durban at the Mapimpi Stadium trying to qualify for the World Cup. It's going to be a pretty interesting one to see how many people turn up when the games are in Durban, like what you've said. You said, hey, send the games all around, then you'll see people at the stadium. Are we going to see people at the stadium this weekend? Welcome to it. Thanks so much for choosing us and joining us. It's Sports Not Amplified with Andile. All of those watching live now on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Thank you so much, and we welcome you. We appreciate you tuning in visually as well. Thank you to Touch and the team. They do it again for the entire week between Monday and Friday next week, 3 to 6. It's the best drive there is. Trust me. I implore you to go somewhere else and then let me know when you're back. We'll welcome you back with open arms. It's Podcast Friday! Malcolm, that's not the one. You've ruined it. It's gone. No, the moment's gone, Malcolm. The moment's gone. The guys are here. Nadim's here. Mkonza's here. Mark is here. And there's a lot to talk about. Reflecting on the week that was, looking forward to the weekend, but also talking about some key things. One, Ernst Middendorp is back in South African football. We'll have a conversation about that. But also, we'll go to what Bernard Parker said about how he was let go at Kaizer Chiefs. We'll have the guys' opinions on it. They're here. A former Kaizer Chiefs player sits here with us. What about Katlego Mphela speaking about financial literacy? Did they ever receive financial literacy when they were players? And we'll reflect on that too. But also, that's not all. We'll also touch on Jabulani Mendu, former Kaizer Chiefs player, who says there are no big name players at Kaizer Chiefs right now. There are no big name players at Kaizer Chiefs right now. What? At Kaizer Chiefs right now, no big name players. Jabulani Mendu said it. We'll reflect on it. It's 10 after the hour 6. When we come back, I introduce the guys and we get going. But also, we'd love to hear from you on 086 000 2160 060 552 7303. It's 12 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. I'm not alone in the studio because it is Podcast Friday, your favorite show of the week. I gave you another cue, Malcolm. You're not the one. Today, let me introduce the guys. Nadim Lukele, former SABC researcher, statistician, and pundit of the beautiful game. Nadim?
Yeah, Andile, kuhle kubala. And yeah, it was interesting to see so many comments from Jabulani Mendu, Katlego Mphela, as well as Bernard Parker.
It's been a week, huh?
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, most painful one is the Bernard Parker one. I think breaking your leg at that age, 36 years old. Even recover, it takes time.
He says, watch him. Beginning of next year, he'll be on the field.
We love his confidence. Let's just hope he's still gonna come back to his best and he's not gonna injure himself more.
Let's hope so. And then, of course, we also have Spiem Konza, former Kaizer Chiefs and Bafana Bafana captain, but also currently the CEO of Nandi Sport, doing all sorts of things with kids in football. Welcome.
Thank you, Andile. Zimnandi zibuzwa la angishilo ngathi into emnandi yaphinda sesikhona ke fanda sizozibreaka down sizozayina zonke ziphelele.
And of course, lastly, former Cosmos Wits and Swallows midfielder, current pundit, and a man that I just simply would like to call, moving forward, at the Hask. So you can go follow him on Instagram if you want to try and pronounce his surname. I'm retiring.
It's a Jomo Cosmos legend.
Is it?
Jomo Cosmos legend.
Yeah, Jomo Cosmos legend. There's many. So he falls into a great category of amazing players. Mark, welcome.
Great to be here once again. Looking forward to the show.
Guys, let's go straight into it. Ernst Middendorp is back in South African football. We thought he was going to go, I think it was 2-3 different teams that had his name up, including Skukuna at some point. So there was a lot happening as far as Ernst Middendorp speculations were concerned. He's back in South African football and he's in Cape Town. He's been appointed as the coach there, Mkonza.
And the first things first, we need to acknowledge this is team number 8 for Ernst Middendorp. One, what has he done in our footballer? Because remember, from outside, the first thing that you look at, what does he bring into our football? Middendorp win a 2006 Absa Cup, and then he saved the Marispec 2016. For me, I still think the only thing that Middendorp can give you in a club is to discipline your team. But in terms of the tactics, I've been with Middendorp. He coached me at Kaizer Chiefs. I struggle kakhulu awutyami. Ichairman ke yamcela nokumcela athi awutyama ngabanjwa ile game lethi ngokusiza amafena ngazokukhomba. So ukusize ngokususa esihlalweni where we were able to beat Marispec 3-0 and he survived the umsebenzi wakhe. But for me,
hold on.
Yeah.
Chairman yenzeni?
Yamcela yamsondeza athi mfethu zokala ngayibheka. The team hasn't been doing well. Still to win a Malika 2 or 10. So when we are figure a team in position 9, and amafena kwate blind indoda ganunu wabo. Chairman omcelo wathi yazi now thiyama yabona masingabanjwa ile game le basibamba nge-loss. Ngcono uhlike kancane kule situlo ngoba
I thought you'd be all for Ernst Middendorp because he won a trophy while you were there at Kaizer Chiefs. The only trophy he's won in South African football.
But not yes, he won the trophy, but mina ngithi umcoachile and saying coach manje, I see things different. I'm like, no, Middendorp, if now we were to talk about coaching, tactical is not solid. And the modern football requires coaches that are tactically astute. And the Middendorp access is strength sakhe discipline. Hey, I fake discipline dressing room. Don't say ngama washing lapha.
Mark?
I think we need to look at a bigger issue in our football. If we keep going back to the likes of Ernst Middendorp, is there a lack of options? And that's what we have to ask ourselves. We speak about the coaching merry-go-round. Where are the young, up-and-coming coaches? Are they not being given a chance?
With two in the studio.
Those are the questions we have to ask. And when I look at Middendorp, clearly he's been around for a long time, and there's certain attributes that he has that that clubs look at and they find appealing. But my biggest concern with him of late especially is his time frames that he spends at certain clubs. I mean, if you look at recently, there's one club where he had one game in charge. When you're appointed as a coach and you have one game in charge, and then you leave.
One game?
Like literally one game, and then you leave.
In Tanzania. He was so angry with something, then he left immediately.
Exactly. So, and in 2023, I think he's coached 3-4 different clubs already in 1 year, in 2023. So, longevity, is he a long-term solution? Is he a quick fix? I don't know. What are we trying to do in our football? But there's systemic issues that we need to look at, the bigger problems. And that once we solve those kind of things, then we won't have these kind of debates.
He came into South African football through Kaizer Chiefs back in 2005. July of 2005. That's, if my math serves me right, that's what,
18 years.
18 years. 18 years. I was about to go 28. 18 years is what it's been. In 18 years in South African football, where he's coached how many teams? 8 teams.
Yeah.
He's won 1 trophy.
Yeah. Saved Maritzburg in 2016. Go relegation. And he missed leaking a point, if you remember, 2019-2020 season where Baroka
Chiefs,
15 minutes, Baroka Yakawati Chiefs.
Chiba United, Bloemfontein Celtic, Maritzburg United, Golden Arrows, a couple of stints at Maritzburg I see as well there. Moroka Swallows as well, that he's been there. Chiefs. He's been around in South African football. Nadeem, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do. I honestly feel that Sean Parklett was a bad coach for them, was good in the NFT. Rightfully so, he was relieved because the team was not winning. They lost every game under him. And now I thought they played better against Pirates, and then realized that Pirates actually are not in a good position to beat any team at the moment. The squad, they are not really creating enough chances, hence they lost to Richards Bay. I think they lost against Richards Bay. Captain Spurs, maybe they felt, okay, they needed to change again. I don't think it's someone who can help them survive relegation, as we know that Captain, even the players that they have, I don't even think he has the quality to work with. Remember how he left at Swallows? He just left. He didn't even tell the owner. Got another game was announced somewhere. Then he, again in Germany, he left them in the middle of the season. Went to Tanzania, and Tanzania after 2 or 3 games, he left again. He took Thabo Sinong to Tanzania, then he left him there again. So and came back in South Africa. So he's that kind of a guy. But Cape Town is a very beautiful place. Maybe he enjoys working there. Maybe he'll want to stay long. I don't know. But I no longer regard him as a coach that can assist you with anything.
Load shedding akhe Andile is strong kakhulu. He stage 13. Uyeka manje yonke lento. Akanandaba ukuthi what as long as he's not happy with something. Awuzokumangaza. Load shedding yakhe vele icime manje akho. This will light after 3 days.
Well, you tell us. What are your thoughts? Ernst Middendorp back at Cape Town, or in South African football rather, and he's out in Cape Town, taking over what was Sean Bartlett's job. Your thoughts on that on 086-000-2160, WhatsApp on 060-552-7303. Let's move on a little bit here. And I want to speak to particularly Konza and then Mark. Let's talk a little bit about financial education. But this, of course, came from a conversation that we had with Katlego Mphela, who came into studio to talk to us about his new job, or the new job that he's trying to acquire now that football is over. He says he spent 2 years after he had broken his ankle. At Eagles. And he didn't know what to do. 2 years. And in that 2 years, money ran out. So he needed to figure out what he wanted to do. He tried to open a Chisanyama. That didn't quite work out. He tried to do tenders. That didn't quite work out. And now he's gone to get a job. And I asked him, what about financial education for the almost, in his words, 200,000 plus that he was getting a month. This is what he had to say.
I think it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. As long as there's no income and it's only money coming out, eventually you're going to go broke. So your money must make your money.
Yeah.
And 2 years is a long time.
It is.
You know, to sustain yourself with your savings. It's very difficult.
And you were earning well, so you were living well.
Yeah, I think I was one of the players that was earning well in this country.
Oh, I mean, he goes on to say in the clip there, Timmy cut it just before, he goes on to speak about the fact that he didn't get financial education. No one comes in and teaches you about money. You get people that come in, and he mentioned a couple of companies that are investment and insurance companies. They come to sell you products, to say, hey, now but nobody taught him about money. Mkonza, what is your experience when you were still playing, when you were earning money?
I think Katlego is 100% right, Andile, because I myself, I never got financial education. I thought, because I didn't even know investment versus savings. Investment, the power of investment is paramount. But again, I'm savings. You understand, the players don't have that information. And these are the things that players, I can tell you right now, the biggest mistake they make in life of a footballer, Andile, is just after football, not Mausadlala. Retire. Players are under pressure to find something after football. That's number one. You need to understand that part. But nemali skambutia save until. And the lenda show there are people who will come and say, this is where you need to invest in order to sustain yourself after football. But I can tell you the money that we were earning, Uma can tell you, actually money that can help us after retirement. I can still carry on, live with my family, a comfortable life.
He was earning $250 a month.
But if there's no money coming into the account, then Andile
but while you're playing, if you're earning $250 a month and you've got good products on you, surely there'll be something, no?
I think the realities are, when do you start earning $250 a month? It's in the latter part of your career.
Yeah, that's the apex.
Like everyone else, when you upgrade, when your salary is upgraded, you upgrade your life to a certain extent. You buy a better house, you buy a bigger car, you take your children to better schools. But that's the latter part of your career. So if you're earning in excess of, some of us never got to 100,000 or whatever the case may be, but eventually it comes to a grinding halt. It doesn't even, it's not like you go from that 200 and then you have a few years to kind of peter off. It just stops. Like literally dead breaks.
In your 30s. It's not even half your life yet.
Now, and exactly what Katlego says there, as long as money's going out, because now you still have the house, the bond to pay for, the car, the school fees, whatever. So now do you downgrade your life? Do you take your children from private back to public schooling? Or, do you, whatever the case may be. Those are the realities. And unfortunately, you can have, I always say, like, you can have 2 million saved up in the bank, because you kind of saved, a part of your money.
Yeah.
But when your expenses are 50,000 rand a month, let's say, give or take, how long does 2 million last? If 50,000 rand a month is going out of your account, if you don't have money coming in. So those are the realities. And yes, as players, we need to take more responsibility. But also, I think not enough is done to aid the players. Players are a commodity. They come and they go. And, that's the system itself needs to really look and take better care of its players, because players are the lifeblood of the game. And so ultimately, I feel like more can be done. But as players as well, we need to also take responsibility for ourselves.
And we forget that, these are at some point teenagers and then people in their 20s.
Yeah.
If you think if you're an adult right now, think about you in your 20s and how much you knew about money and what you did with money in your 20s.
Let me tell you this. I've got friends who played provincial cricket and all this, coming through the ranks into the professional ranks. And in the structure, before they reach that level, they have classes they go to where they are taught to deal with money, taught to deal with the media. They prepare on how to conduct themselves in interviews, whatever the case may be. And generally, rugby, cricket, whatever those, they generally come from affluent backgrounds. So those are the people that don't really need it. But if you look at us playing football, a lot of times many of our footballers play for or come from backgrounds where their parents have never seen the kind of money they're making. So they can't go to their parents to ask them, whereas their counterparts who are getting these life skills, they have parents who can teach them that. And in football, it's lacking. There's no such anywhere in our football.
Structurally,
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough conversation to have, but I mean, good on him to be able to find life outside of that. Because what is it, Mkonza, about players? And Katlego said it here as well, that it's almost like it's a taboo to look for a job.
Ekunzima, Andile. Let me tell you one thing. I like the conversation you had to Katlego about manje, so now so 9 to 5. That time it used to be 2 hours. And immediately just after that 2 hours, what do you do? I myself have been in that cage where after 2 hours of training session, saying PlayStation, you forget about probably school, for example. Luckily some of us gave scale. So probably that is why probably the SSBC attend not. But what's important with current players that are playing, I can tell you right now, you need to get people that are honest enough in your life to tell you good more 5 rand. Save under the 200 because life after football, I can tell you right now there are a lot of legends that are going through the situation you have been a saga, not under my decision making. That time they never had information, but now bana information but in yoga iseko and an manje Andile in yoga iseko. Let me tell you one thing. Kubhlungu mangabe sibona ma legend athola ma food parcels. And for me, it hurts me more because we're
not talking about. I know you use the word legends, but we're not talking about people that played 10, 15 years ago. We're talking about people that played 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, but in South Africa, after Mao retired, we are a legend. That's why I'm using that word.
No, I'm just trying to explain. Yeah.
But Andile, it's so sad out here where Ubonamajita going through what the situation at school. They never had that information that is critical.
Do we think players are earning more money than they're actually earning?
Manje.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, isakal khona manje. Ukuthi wena how into zakho uziplug kanjani? How do you plug your money? And also, Tina, we had a guy Andile in our group. Each was sponsored by Vodacom and Standard Bank that time. There's a guy, he lied to us. So as an investor, what he will do, he'll change a car within two months. That means you haven't paid that car. 2 months you phone is Oshinchi Trans. That time, being naive, being immature, you change a car. Mark since that Andile izoshintsha kunedladla kuphi ulishintshe now. Namhlanje yakutshela selina mapilanga outside seka sasipana la Standard Bank. Ngifuna umama naso. Yakutshela uthiyama. Sikhawathile la uthi plan le group yethu le yabo amajita la besidlala abo Jimmy Town all that group le eyasimunya le uthi le. You'll change a car in 2 months.
You'll change. I've never heard of somebody changing a house.
I promise you. When you're wena.
So ngapha kanjani?
No, you know, still good. You to pay the bank. We still out. You don't know how to about payments. Because the first question I ask, am I still gonna pay the same amount I was paying?
Yeah.
Yes, you pay. But when I was with interest, clearly like move school packers ngana lesinda out here.
She was.
Skawatile out. So manje, that's why information we never had. I'm a product that people were selling to us are not product that will sustain us na manje. Manje for ukale phansi, you're starting your life manje.
I think ultimately footballers have always been exploited and people see the gap and that's life. And that's why, again, the onus is on footballers that we try to speak to the younger generation now, but it's almost like, you had your time. Let us enjoy now. You know, that's sometimes the reception you get.
It's hard to listen.
There's others that listen, but others who don't. But I definitely believe there's a general misconception about how much footballers make in this country. Why is it a secret? You go most places in the world where you know exactly who's earning what, whatever the case may be. There's a reason that's not made public in this country. And unfortunately...
Would you advocate for that?
Not necessarily. What I would advocate for is for players to really take a sober look at what they're earning. Because we want to live the lifestyle of guys in Europe, or we look at guys overseas who are earning insane amounts of money. And you almost want to match them, or there's a perception that you need to be like them, and you're not anywhere even on the same stratosphere. You're not close to where they are. Those are the realities. If you look at, I worked it out. So
they're living beyond their needs.
I worked it out. A 4th division player in England. We're talking about you get EPL, you get Championship, then you get 1st division, 2nd division. A 2nd division player in England makes, I think it was, I looked at it, about £15,000 a week. It works out to over 100,000 rand a month. So the average in the 4th division in England is way above the average footballer in South Africa.
What?
Those are the realities.
In the PSL?
In the PSL. If you go to an average, I mean, yes, there are guys who are earning 300 plus, whatever, but that's the exception. That's not the norm. That is not the norm. The average is much lower than that. And so those are the realities we must come to. And so when you're earning that 300-400, it's generally in the last 3-4 years of your career, if you're lucky. Starting out, I worked out, and again, I've said this before, I played for 12 years. The first 8 years of my career, I averaged 12,500 Rand a month. I went back and I worked out exactly what I earned. The first 8 years of my 12-year career, I earned an average of 12,500 Rand a month. Is that money? No, it's not. You can make more money in a call center.
It's 18:31 in the Mighty Metro FM. Let's take a break. When we come back, Nadeem says he's crazy and craving for the action. So let's get back into it. Jabulani Mendu has had a lot to say about Kaizer Chiefs, but so did Bernard Parker when we come back. 18:32 in the Mighty Metro FM. Let's get back on Podcast Friday topics. And then, of course, I see a lot of you are calling already, and you're going to be mad you're holding for 40 minutes. It's not the time yet. It's not the time yet. We still have a lot to talk about. Let's go to Bernard Parker, speaking about how he left Kaizer Chiefs.
I acknowledge that I was done wrong in the way it happened. I prepped myself.
And these are conversations you were having with them?
Correct. I prepped myself, I studied. So I try to equip myself as much as I can when it comes to preparing myself for after football. So most of the people were surprised, including myself, including my family as well, because in my mind, I thought probably that was going to happen. And it didn't happen. And I was told, what do you want to do? And I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And I was told, okay, go on holiday and then you come tell us what you want to do. So I went on holiday and I came back and I told him what I want to do. And since then, too quiet. So I said, let football go on, which I love. I'm not going to sit at home and wait around.
And by then your contract's done.
And then my contract's done. I need to feed my family.
So Bernard Parker, goes and studies all of these things to equip himself to be able to fit in post-football. And these are conversations he's having with Kaizer Chiefs. He comes back and says, hey guys, what's the future look like? My contract's coming to an end. He's told, no, go on holiday. We'll talk when you come back. He comes back. No conversation. Nobody ever says anything to him. Everybody keeps quiet. Next thing he sees players going back. They're training. The season is starting. That's when he started looking for another team. One part of me says, you're not entitled to anything. Your contract's over. The only thing that you have with the team is a contract. Your contract's over. Thank you very much. Goodbye. That's the one part of me. The other part says, not if we're having those conversations.
Yeah.
Mkonza, you're a former Chiefs player.
Yeah. Unlike Kaizer Chiefs, I know, Mina, when you have those kind of conversation, you give the player hope to say, mangbuya kulo holiday ochingeke kuyo. Uzongaya something. Yes, you are phela akusho bakolota, but the team one mabahlala nawo phansi ba discuss about Andile. I think our thinking process says mawubuya la sizokwenza assistant. I'm just making an example. Already now as a player, the mindset prepares itself. Okay, mangibuya ku holiday bazongilahlela la, but then masobuya kungasashiwo next, then it's a problem, because I think for me, Chiefs, unlike Chiefs, they've always done things professionally. The years I've spent there, I've never had any type of issues except probably coach or Fagi lineup. But other than that, I think for me, unlike Kaizer Chiefs, I think Bernard Parker, unfortunate situation. I thought Nami Parker will get something immediately after I retire, because yes, that is giving Chiefs a good service.
Mark?
I've come to learn that there's no loyalty in football. Absolutely no loyalty in football. So that's what I always say to players. Ultimately, your loyalty is to your family. You have to do the best you can while you can for your family, ultimately. And don't expect anything from anyone. Give your best at all times. Give your everything. Every opportunity you get, you give everything. But don't expect any loyalty from anyone, because as I said earlier, players are a commodity. The biggest problem in this country is that there's too much talent. I say that and people are like, what do you mean? There's too much talent in this country. Players are expendable. You're here today, gone tomorrow, and you can easily get, clubs can get rid of you, whatever the case may be, because there's so much talent waiting in the wings. And so ultimately, as players, we have to take responsibility for our own futures and don't expect anything from anyone. Do your best at every given time. Give everything, but don't expect anything in return.
Nadeem?
I disagree with him. Konza. He knows the truth. I don't know why he's trying to hide it. It's like Chiefs. They've done that to so many players. I remember when I was still starting at SAPC, when Gold.com was still starting, I once did spoke to Cyril Nzama, basically, when I was let go by Kaizer Chiefs to go to the team from Nelson Mandela Bay. I think Bay United, exactly. He was so heartbroken the way they treated him. So Jimmy Tao, remember how he retired at Kaizer Chiefs? There are so many painful stories like that. Bernard Parker came here in the studio 2 days ago. He said this has happened directly to him. So by the same team. So really, you can't really say it's unlike them because it is like them. The fact is, it's a family-run team. Soccer players must learn that once your career is over there, chances are very small. Of course, it's not like the Chiefs have this huge institution where they can cater for almost people. There's nothing much. I mean, even the guys who are in the development and the senior team, we know who they are. They don't have like a big space to cater so many people. I mean, you can talk to Nengomash how he left Chiefs. He will say maybe he was not happy. So it's like Chiefs. It's been happening to so many players. We've been covering them. We've spoken to so many guys at Kaizer Chiefs.
But not just Chiefs. Not just Chiefs.
Yes, as you said, it's not like. No, he said it's unlike Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'm saying it has happened at Chiefs. Just like it has happened to so many players who have spoken
in other teams as well.
Yes, that's why I feel it is like them. But it's, as you say, football.
It's a systemic problem.
And remember, Kaizer Chiefs is not on merit. Obvious. Also, how they do things in terms of releasing players. Remember, Bernard Parker, when he was released, he was still good. He was still a regular player and all those kind of things. But he was let go. I mean, compared to guys,
Akpe was the best keeper at Chiefs.
Yeah.
Who?
Akpe.
Exactly. But he was let go. So it's always loyalty. Again, the loyalty is one side. Is the chairman or whoever. If they like you, then they'll extend you. If not, but I can see. I mean, it was one of my man of the match against Chiefs when they beat Chiefs 1-0. It's still good. The injury is unfortunate because you can see that he was really, really doing well.
But for me, the teams are not entitled to give Hispani after it is now Andile, you're waiting to get something from the team. It should never be like that.
What's the last team you played for?
Mina.
Yep.
Amazul.
Did you expect anything from them when you retired?
No.
Is there a team that you said, I gave my life to it and I'm hoping Mankata wasn't got something?
No. I already had my plans outside football to say if I don't get into the radio, the opportunity you've given to me, radio, then I'll take coaching. So luckily enough, I'm blessed enough to be able to get the opportunity on. I never sat down and say, Amazulu owes me, no. Again,
with this thing, Bernard Parker was called by the management. It's different.
He says he had conversations with them.
Yes, so that's the problem that he was
he
promised.
Upskilled himself.
And then he went and he got all this education. He got all these qualifications.
The question is, why did they do that to him?
That's a good
After
question.
playing more than 10 years at Kaizer Chiefs.
I tell you now that you're not going to get that answer here. That's for sure. Let's move on. Still sticking with Chiefs, though, because a legend of Kaizer Chiefs, one that many recognize, Jabulani Mendo, had a lot to say this week about Kaizer Chiefs. And I can imagine a lot of people do. And I think it comes out of love. I don't think it comes out of wanting to challenge the team in any way. I think it comes out of love, because out of love comes frustration. This is what Jabulani Mendo had to say.
But what's happening in our beloved team is that every coach that comes with his own things, but forget that this is bigger than everyone else. So I think what they must do is, guys, listen, who's a big name player at Kaizer Chiefs right now? No one. Why? Guys, let's have that. Let's put players out there, not the management. Football, it's about the players. Let's focus more on the players. Motivate the player.
There is no big name player at Kaizer Chiefs right now, Mark. You agree?
Well, Itumeleng Khune is a big name player.
I agree with you.
Maybe.
Well, it doesn't matter
maybe too big a name.
But that's a big name player.
Yeah, certainly. And but we can understand what Jabu's saying. On the grand scheme of things, I think that for me is
hold on. For you, is that the only one?
When you say big name player that's like done exceptionally well over an extended period of time, is a superstar, whatever the case may be, yes, I would say so. You can't think of anyone that jumps off the page. Keegan Dolly's done exceptionally well.
I would have thought
in his
Keegan.
career. He's there as well. But we're talking about players that are basically going to revive Kaizer Chiefs right now. Those two players we've mentioned are in the latter part of their careers. Are those players that we can say now are going to revive Kaizer Chiefs? No, they're not. We have to look at who's coming through that's a big name player that Chiefs can look to take the reins and say, hey, this is a big club. We need to take them to the next level. Unfortunately, no one jumps off the page.
Yeah. Nadeem?
Yeah, I mean, there's no big. I think it's right, because if you say big name player now, he means a player like Tembazwane who's still at his best, like Shaulile, like Lodge.
Yeah,
that kind of a player. There's no big game player. I mean, if you look at Dolly States, 1 assist in the last 5 games he played Kaizer Chiefs. Khune, 1 win in the last 8 matches he played for Kaizer Chiefs. So those are players who are not even supposed to be in the lineup. We know that. That's why sometimes I feel I'm so conflicted with how they do things in these teams, because you feel like they're introducing some girls, one introducing Tanzane, Castillo, they're building a new team. Then they fetch Kune somewhere who has not been playing and put him in the lineup. That's why last week I said if Chiefs play Kune against Pirates, they will lose, because I knew that Kune is not really at his best now. He has passed his best. He used to be one of the greatest goalkeepers in South Africa. For me, he could be one of the top 5 PSL greatest goalkeepers. But now, yes, now he's no longer. I mean, I don't know when do they want to move on, because it's so conflicting what Kaizer Junior or the management of Kaizer Chiefs are trying to do. They are building a team with youngsters, getting 12 players, then they are bringing Kune. It's not a solution to them. The results are there. Kune did say that at the end of the day, the stats must count. The stats are not in his favor at Kaizer Chiefs. He's no longer the Toli again. He's been injured a lot. And you can't say it's his best also. There's a reason why he came back. I think there's been a lot of injuries also in his career. So Mendu is right.
So basically what you're saying is not even Kune. There's no big name players.
For me, at his peak, no. Yeah.
Are they big name players at Kaizer Chiefs?
Umenda, I think, is absolutely right. For me, influence Kakune not Toli is no longer the same as before. I think Chiefs needs to get back to their traditional value. Find big stars, players that are going to be even representing the national team. Because we take this thing for granted of Kaizer Chiefs having players that represent national team, but the results and the outcome of what Chiefs has happened over the last 8-9 years for Kaizer Chiefs tells you a story. There's a big message about it. But for now, if you look at that squad, the depth of that squad, I don't really think there's a big player in that team. And if you go back, I don't want to go back and say, yeah, that time as a squad say to San, we had about 8 players in the national team and internationals. I'm not only talking about South Africa, Bafana Bafana, we had internationals that are playing. So that's why Chiefs were able to compete even in Confederations League, because we had a lot of players that are representing their national team and the players of influence. Because if you don't have players of influence, are you expecting to win anything?
And you're also winning the league also.
You understand? Yeah. So that is why it's right. You shy Pagati.
All right, guys, there weren't games this week, so we can't have a player that was really amazing this week, but we can look forward to the Bafana Bafana game that is coming up tomorrow live on the SABC Sport on SABC 1. Please do make sure that you catch it. What are your thoughts on Bafana Bafana Benin? It's a big game. It's a World Cup qualifier. They are on a winning streak, Bafana, at the moment. Mark?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Coach Hugo Bruce.
You and I both.
I think, I love his tongue-in-cheek approach. He gives as good as he gets, and so I'm a big fan of the way we've done of late. And people sometimes don't understand that it's a process. And if you look at the process since Hugo Bruce has been there, we came so close to qualifying, or at least to the next phase of getting close to qualifying for the World Cup. We've now qualified for an AFCON. We start our World Cup qualifying process once again, and I'm excited for what this team is about. Unfortunately, we'll be missing a few players. I think Lyle Foster is a massive, massive blow. And up front, basically, I think it's Motiba as well now, who's not going to be there. Those are 2 international strikers that we're definitely going to miss. But I'm excited to see what the team is able to do.
Kwanzaa?
Excited with the fact that Bradley Cross finally got the recognition of being in the national team. But again, Andile, just to qualify for 20 World Cup in 2010.
Yeah.
Qualifier? No, we didn't.
Not even qualifiers.
2001.
So we need to do well. I mean, Rwanda and Benin, we need to beat them, because our games against Nigeria are not always smooth and easy. So it's an important game for us to deliver. But excited to see our Bradley Cross coming into the national team, because that shows the coach has been watching and we turned on a consistency.
Now, by numbers, Bafana Bafana has 2 routes to the 2026 World Cup. Route 1 is simple: win the group.
Yeah.
Right? Win Group C, then they're through. The other route, if we're unable to do that, could end up with a playoff versus nations like Oman, Curacao, the Solomon Islands, who have played Mexico or in Los Angeles. So that's the difficult route. So we want to do it through the win the group route, or then, if we come second, then we have to take a look at who we're playing in other places that came second, and then we have to do it that way.
We don't need calculators.
Then we're calculating.
It's as Mkonza said, the last time Bafana Bafana qualified is 2001, the Korea-Japan. Again, it's of course 2001 for the 2002 World Cup in Korea-Japan. It's been a while, but I don't believe we have the quality players to qualify for a World Cup. We don't.
Even with these
I
amazing
disagree.
Sundowns players that are conquering
No,
the
they're not
continent?
good enough. I mean,
I completely
no,
disagree.
they're not good enough. If you look at
Who, the
Niger-
team?
yes, Bafana Bafana squad.
Okay.
If you look at pound to pound against Nigeria,
Yeah.
the Nigerian number one striker is a Serie A best player. I mean, he was wanted so much. He's one of the top. He was in the top 10 Ballon d'Or players, right? So the Nigerians.
Now-
can I finish?
Okay.
Yes. So the squad, the coach is good, but remember how we qualified? We drew against Liberia for this AFCON at Orlando Stadium. Then Lepasa scored that winning goal.
Did Nigeria
That-
play yesterday?
Yes,
I was
they
just-
drew.
That's what I wanted to say.
They drew with who?
Lesotho.
Yes.
They drew with Lesotho.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This is the same Nigeria you're saying Bafana Bafana aren't good enough to beat.
Yeah, this is no.
A
I'm
team that drew Lesotho.
No, is there. Remember, even South Africa will draw with Lesotho, will even lose. I mean, anyone can draw with anyone. Bafana, there's a reason why they've not qualified. Anyone can draw with anyone. You know, this World Cup qualifiers.
But that's why your point is nullified. Purely
No,
because
I'm saying.
you're talking about players and where they play and the quality of their players. Yes, we give them that. That's
Where do
fine.
players in
Okay,
Lesotho
I am saying Bafana don't have the good enough squad to qualify for the World Cup. There's a reason why Bafana have not qualified. They've qualified only twice. Remember those times?
When last did Bafana Bafana lose a game? Look it up.
You don't have to lose. You can draw.
But what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
they lose a
you
game.
don't have to lose. It's not important. You can draw. The thing is that there's a reason why all the guys, Shakes Mashaba, so just gonna qualify. Pitso Msimane promised us to Vision 2014 Brazil failed to qualify. So many guys have failed. There's a reason why. It's not
So
like
you don't believe
and
even
all
in
those
this
guys, they had a better team. The 2010 World Cup squad was better than this team. The 2010 squad, the Pitso Msimane squad was better than this one. It's difficult to qualify. Bafana, there's no guarantee that you'll go to Lesotho and win. That's the thing. It's so difficult. I'm saying you can say that, but
no guarantee.
even
You're
Nigeria
right.
thought
I think you're right. There's no guarantee that they'll win.
Exactly.
The same way Nigeria thought they were guaranteed to beat Lesotho.
Exactly.
So ultimately, on the day, and that's why football. Why I love where football is now, because it's not necessarily about the squad you put out. You in the past you put like our '96 team. Was Clive Barker a quality coach? Was Clive Barker a quality coach? He was he's a legend in our game. But Clive Barker and any player who's played for him will tell you he was a great motivator.
Did you ever play for
He was
Clive?
a great
Amazulu.
Amazulu, he played
Yeah,
on the cup. So
strong.
answer the question.
Technically, it technically was not solid, but again, for me, good motivator.
But now, back in the day...
But hold on, Mark, hold on.
Yeah.
You can't... isn't that the same thing Ernst is? What's the difference then between a Clive Barker and an Ernst?
Yeah, but I said it no Ernst. Ngikhulumile.
So you're fine.
Ngithi u-Ernst umnandi nge-discipline e-dressing room.
So you're fine. No,
no,
Clive Barker.
Clive. Yeah,
Alright.
Clive.
Anyways, the coach said himself
you
last
can
day that
cut-
we
you
don't
can
have
cut the
enough
class here,
quality
FNP
players. I honestly think that I'm not questioning the coach. The coach won AFCON with a second string coming in the squad in 2017. He's a very good coach, Hugo Bruce. But I'm saying he doesn't have the kind of squad. Because
that's what
who's going to
Hold on.
They will win tomorrow 1-0. Who's going to score? I know. I was saying give me a guy who's going to
That's
score and
modern
win.
football. Goals can come from
Yeah, they
anywhere.
come
That's
anywhere.
what I'm
Yes,
talking about.
but
Unfortunately, the time's up, guys.
but you
That's
do
it.
need
That's
players.
all the time we have. Malcolm, switch them off. That's it. We leave it up to you now. We had many conversations today. It's your turn. 086 000 2160.
Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Exe Andile Buruaka ke bongs lenyora wa lesandawana mo Shantele yane bar mjolo wa trapa mara se mjolo felo trapa le di choice tse Bafana ba di tseang ba football dia ba trapa man shem dilaito ba reng ke Dupri o tuile ka speed sa parafini agaba Sundowns re no nyoko tsosa Chiefs a shana go Chiefs. I'm going to find out a few months later pila he's not even a big name. What la ba botsa mendu why tse kana re mfano nka tile go Sundawana na tla bone no computer le botau le bo shalolile for a CAF award. So go debe no ngashu ebile is not a big name. Esva.
Thank you.
Evening, gents. Evening,
Hola.
it's Sean here. I just needed to chip in with respect to Ernest Middendorp's stats in South Africa. On the contrary, Ernst won 2 trophies.
Yeah?
The first one was an ABSA Cup that he won against Pirates via
With Chiefs.
penalty shootout.
Yes.
And then the very next season, he won a SAA Top 8, where Rodson Kilambe scored for Chiefs against SuperSport. So Ernst Middendorp has got 2 trophies and not 1, as you guys have been reporting. I just thought I'd
we'll
give
look
that
it up,
clarity.
boy. We'll look it up.
Yeah,
I know the one.
Thanks for a good show.
Were you not there the next season?
Andile, this is
What was over here?
Katlego.
No, I was there.
No, Mkonza had left.
No, Konzo, I know when he left Chiefs, he was there.
Hey, Matota, you're going to argue with the man here.
No, I know when he left Chiefs. Soccer players don't remember most of the things.
When did he leave Chiefs?
He left 2007.
When did you leave Chiefs?
2007.
So were you there the next season?
No, but Middendorp been coach for 6 months.
Sorry. I'm thinking I forgot to open you there. He coached you for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then?
Yeah, then yena bamfake tire.
So then how did you win?
No, maybe agathina lama
Okay,
players.
we'll look it up.
No,
we love to be corrected
Okay.
here, so we'll
Yeah.
look it up. We'll look it up and just make sure. Play one more.
Andile, this is Matebola. Andile, I don't blame Kaizer Chiefs the way they let the players go. Some of the players, they want to think that to play for Kaizer Chiefs is like you are in government job. It doesn't end if you didn't reach 65 years. So I think players, they must be ready that if my contract end and then Kaizer Chiefs, they don't renew it, I need to go and prepare for that. This is Matebola.
Thank you. Let's take the calls now. Silo is there out in Pretoria. Wants to speak about Chiefs and ex-players. I'm going to give you one of those, Silo. Which one are you going with? Silo.
Hi, Andile. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. The guys are here. Go for it.
Yeah, Silo from Listen, Andile. I think you didn't ask Bernard Plaga the next question. Like, for example, he said he came back. They say go and think about this and come back. So when you come back, what did he propose? I mean, one thing, Bernard Plaga, remember, he comes from overseas. He was earning a lot of money. So whatever that he comes as whatever that he proposed, was it viable for Kaizer Chiefs? Like, you cannot just come and say, I'm proposing this and expect the Chiefs to accept. Yeah.
I completely hear you, and I don't disagree with you, right? But the point is, once he has, whether you like what he's proposed or not, is it not common decency to go to him and say, no, we do not approve, nor do we like, nor do we want what you've proposed. Please go make a life somewhere else.
No, but Bernard Parker never said a Chiefs decline or approve whatever that.
That's what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you, Bernard Parker says, okay, guys, this is what I'm thinking, right?
Yes.
And then they saw it and they never said anything back to him. Is it not common decency to say to him, we are seeing what you've given us, but we don't like it. Sorry, please go try somewhere else.
Correct. Look, in that way, you are correct. Hence, I'm saying you were also supposed to ask him, did you propose something? What is there that you proposed?
No, but that wasn't the point. The point was to say, whatever it is I proposed, they never got back to me to say, hey, we don't like it. So it doesn't matter what it was. Whatever it was, they never got back to him with it. They never said anything afterwards. They said to him, take a holiday, come back, propose. He proposed, and they kept quiet and never got back to him.
No, that is wrong. And Andile, please, I beg you, ask Kaizer Chiefs to come and answer such, because
please go on Twitter. Please go on Twitter and tell them you'd like them to come.
Thank you, Andile.
Sharp. See ya out in Cape Town. See ya.
Hey, Andile,
I know Sharp was it where?
Yeah, Hey. Today, it's actually painful. The story of Bernard Parker, number one. I feel like when you dismiss someone like that, because he's saying he proposed something and then they told him he must go to holiday. So by just saying that, it's like you're giving the person the false hope that when you come back, you have something concrete. And then when you come back, you keep quiet, you don't say anything. That is not good, actually. It's wrong. Unfortunately, I'm not going to side with Kaizer Chiefs on this one.
Until we hear their side of the story, of course, which I doubt we will. But Sia, I completely hear you on that one. Thank you so much. Let's go to Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy's gone there. Let's go to Lunga. Lunga's out in Ruhreport. Lunga.
Good day, team.
Hey, man.
So, how's it, man?
No. Good. Talk to me.
Good. Andile ngathi ngikhuluma nawe ngale ndaba wangivalela ngaphandle mara ngathi hayi
angengivalele ngaphandle boy la noma udisagree nami uyangena.
No, ngisho ngale ndaba eChiefs ngithi mangikhuluma ngayo wayivala but iyayenza manje seyibuyile manje, you know, like having been in that cycle lento bayenza kuParker mfethu ayiqali yakuthola. So as unadimashilo ukuthi it's a family business, and then the way they approach, yes, go from small details. You know, Mina Nkrumah from a point of, I was working for a company that is still one of the big companies that is red, that is still sponsoring the team. Like you could see the attitude of other, you know, administrators. As keep. And in the Bagapaka, I mean, I can tell you 99.9% in part offside because we never work out unless if Tinabanya understand that maybe Neslung, but Lomuntulo, but in fact, Ufuna ini. Wakhuluma bathi iyaku holiday uzothi mawubuya sikuvale makabuya bathula and kumkhonza ish wena you are a nice guy mfethu akazi in real life mara inhliziyo yakhe grand but ngiyabonga bafethu.
Lunga, thank you so much. Let's go to Brian. We need to correct ourselves there because it is the 2 trophies that he's won actually with
correct. Yeah, he beat Msimane in the SA.
Thank you so much, Nadim, looking it up for us. Brian.
Sure, Andile, how are you?
Hey man, I'm good. Talk to me.
No, man, Andile, I wanted to correct Nadim Lukhele. I mean, I think...
Please switch his mic off so that you can correct him properly without him saying anything. Correct him.
Yes. I'm listening online somewhere when I'm driving. It cuts. Yeah. So, but I think I heard him saying Pizom Simane played Bafana Bafana to qualify for Brazil 2014. It is wrong. Pizom Simane only played one game against Ethiopia. He played a 0-0 draw. Then he was fired in Rustenburg. Then they gave that team to coach Steve Mphela. He went to play against Botswana in Botswana. Then they gave,
game. Yes, I remember
they gave that team to Gordon Ngasel. He went to Ethiopia. He lost the game 2-1 in Ethiopia. That was a qualifying game for World Cup. So Pizom Simane only coached one game.
Okay, hold on then, Brian. I'm going to give Nadim an opportunity. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, Brian, you're wrong also because Pizom Msimane, when he was appointed by Kirsten Namatanda as a SAFA president, he said he's going to take Bafana Bafana to the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, which was Vision 2014. And then he lost, when he threw that game in Rustenburg against Ethiopia, they knew that he's not going to qualify. That's why he was fired. It is Bafana Bafana.
You can't say they knew.
Yes, he was fired. He was
against Ethiopia. And then it doesn't mean you're going to lose against Ethiopia.
Okay, Brian. Wait, Brian. Hold on, Nadim. I'll let you speak, so let's let him speak. You've got 30 seconds. The guys are waiting. They've got a hot show planned. 30 seconds, Nadim. Go. Not even 15.
Pizom Msimane was fired by Bafana Bafana because of poor results in the national team. So it failed. Yes, he was fired. He failed to qualify Bafana Bafana to 2014 Brazil. Bafana Bafana didn't play in 2014 Brazil.
Brian, this is going to be a conversation. We're going to save this one, Brian. Brian, we're going to save it. We're going to bring it back. Okay. No, Brian, I don't have the time. I'm sorry. I don't have the time for both you and Nadim. From all of us here, we're done. We appreciate you. It's 1 after the L7. The arguments will continue outside of studio. Thank you for choosing us. Pela, and so.